Hi, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're not looking at retro. We're not buying retro. We are looking at Dragon Age the Veilguard. So this is something I'm going to start doing, is looking at some newer games, because I love reviewing video games. And it's just gonna, this is just my initial thoughts, because I've played about 6 to 8 hours. I think it's 8 hours. So I'm not super far into the game, but I'm in far enough to, I feel like, give you guys my perspective. So I don't get these games early or anything, so I'm a little late to the pack, but totally fine. I'm going to put this out there. I stole something from Greg Miller. For those of you who don't know, he used to work at IGN, now runs Kind of Funny podcast, one of my favorite podcasts to listen to. He journals for his games, which I thought was just like a fantastic idea, to kind of just write what you're thinking and your little experiences, excitements, and things like that. So it's all right here for me. I got like a page and a half. So the first thing that I noticed about this game is the first note in here. This is one of the best looking games I have played in a long time. And I think it's because visually it's amazing, right? All the lighting. Here's the biggest thing. It works. The game has no like major bugs that I've found or anything. There's some little glitches here and there, some frame rate drops, but I think with how amazing this game is, it's crazy. I know a bunch of people have been showing off the hair mechanics, which it's well deserved, because best looking hair I've seen. And the best thing for me for this game is that it seems like EA kind of finally went hands off. There are no microtransactions. I think they recently said there's going to be no DLC, which kind of sucks, because it's going to be like 10 years before we have another Dragon Age, because they're working on the next Mass Effect. But man, I'm just glad EA let BioWare cook, because when BioWare is allowed to be BioWare, man, do they do an amazing job. I have been a BioWare fan for a very long time. I've played Knights of the Old Republic. I don't know BioWare's first video game. I wonder what that is. Let me look. Their first video game was a game called Shattered Steel, which looks really cool. It's a mech game done by Interplay, and Interplay's a company I know from collecting retro, so that's pretty cool. It's an MS-DOS and Mac OS is basically the only way you can play this is on PC. I wonder if you can get it on Steam. You can get it on Steam. It's $10. That's pretty cool. Might have to check that out. But then they went on to make games like Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. So that's really cool. And I think that's where Larian Studios got the inspiration for their version of Baldur's Gate, because that is the craziest decision tree. Like, you could play that game probably 4 times in a row and the outcomes would be different as long as you make different choices. I think if you even make some of the same choices, in the end you might forget one and have a different outcome in the end. That's what I love about BioWare games. Now this game for me has a little bit less good and evil style, where, you know, in the old Mass Effect games you used to be able to, I think it was called Paragon and Renegade, and that would kind of change the outcome of the game later on, if you're a jerk or you're nice. But so far the dialogue does have a little bit of a cheesiness to it at points, but I don't mind it. This is, some people are saying this is so 2006 or 2008, you know, like this is the same gameplay from back then. There's nothing different. I think the gameplay is different, like the action oriented and the fighting ability, like the way you control your companions is nuts. And what it always makes BioWare games isn't necessarily the main character, it's always the companions. Like, the main character is going to be the main character, right? And I like Rook. Rook's really good. Got a good story behind it and everything. But the companions are always the ones that really make it awesome. And I don't mind this going back to form for BioWare. Like, I feel like if you're good at something, you need to make some changes every once in a while. I wish maybe they would step it up to a Larian Studios style, where they're they're pushing the decision tree and stuff like that, and just opening up that dialogue a lot more. But I imagine the games would take forever. I mean, Baldur's Gate 3 took years, like 15 years, if I remember right, something like that. I might be wrong. I just remember hearing that it was super long development. Is it worth the $70? Look, man, my initial thoughts are, it depends. So if you're a Dragon Age fan, 100%, I think this is worth it. I would also suggest listening to Vows and Vengeance. That's a podcast. It's free. It's on all podcast platforms. Really good audio listen if you're driving to work and all that kind of stuff. Then again, these are just my initial thoughts. I'm going to put another video out after I beat it. That might take me a couple months. I've heard this game is insanely long. Some people are beating it in about 40 hours. But I know you need to do a lot of the companion quests. So we'll see how long this takes. I might go play it for 20, 30 minutes before I leave for work. But I love the combat in this game, the magic in this game. I feel like it's very fresh. Colors, and I know that sounds weird, but like visually, the combat's amazing. Like, it doesn't really slow down very often. I'm playing on PS5, so if you have a powerful PC, it's probably even better. I do notice that sometimes the missions, the mission itself lasts for too long. Like, there was a couple missions where I'm just walking for a while, and the enemy would pop up, beat the enemy, and then move on to the next. Speaking of enemies, one thing that's really, really cool is the dials on the difficulty. So you have custom settings that you can put. So you can put the base, and it's like story mode, easy, normal, and then hard. And I think there's even an extra hard mode. But what's really cool is you can like turn down the health of the enemies, because I'm not a big fan of video games where you're sitting there just like punching one enemy for like an hour. It's an exaggeration, but you're punching somebody for lots of hits, lots of damage, and it's like, can we just move on, please? I don't want to just sit here and punch enemies forever. So I turned it down, and then I turned it up a little bit to make the gameplay a little bit faster. But those settings are in there. You can change how much damage they do to you. So that's what I did. I made myself kind of squishy, and then I kind of build my character to be more defensive, so I don't lose as much health. Yeah, those options, that's insane. I haven't seen that in a game. What I would do, wait for Black Friday. This game will probably go on sale for, $40, $50. That's usually how EA does things. But we'll see. I definitely think it's worth 70, or if you could pick it up pre-owned, from a GameStop or whatever. I definitely think it's worth it. You should definitely check it out. I want this game to do really well, because I want the next Mass Effect to do really well, because I'm more of a Mass Effect guy. That trilogy is my all-time favorite video game. We don't talk about the fourth one, okay? Andromeda's a giant bag of garbage. But I think Andromeda failed because too much EA got involved, and I just think when a corporation just lets their companies cook and let them build their game, man. Let them take their time, do it right. Because this is the first game, that in a while that no microtransactions. It's a Nintendo game, if I'll say. And Larian Studios, they put out a game, no microtransactions, no nothing. It's just the game, and I think PlayStation does that really well too, with like God of War and The Last of Us and stuff like that. There's no extras. You just got the game. There's some DLC usually, and I'm okay with DLC as long as the DLC is good. It's like a full-fledged, almost second game, and you're paying $20-$30. Phantom Liberty comes to mind. Same with the Erd Tree. I didn't play either of those, but from what I hear, they're very good, and you're paying like $20-$30, almost like a second game, especially the Erd Tree. I watched tons of gameplay on that. Not my style of game, but I like watching it. Let me know in the comment section, what was your favorite part of Dragon Age so far? No spoilers, please, because I'm still playing it. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe button. As always, we're retro, but we're playing modern as well, because I really want to take the time to give these games their due. And on the thought of this, I definitely think this is gonna be a game for collectors. It's a extremely good game, so I think it's one to have on your shelf for the future. One game that I think is really going to be collectible in the future is Star Wars Outlaws, because it's actually a pretty good game, but you know, it didn't sell very well. So I think it sold 1 million copies, and I bet probably half to maybe 3/4 of that was probably digital, not physical. So good games to be collecting. So peace out, you guys.